All right, welcome back everybody. Well, today's going to be a super fun one, rockin' tune by Doobie Brothers, and it's called China Grove from the early 70s. So we're going to cover all the great guitar work, and there is awesome guitar work in this one, and it's very accessible if you're even in the sort of early, late beginner, early intermediate stage with both the rhythm and the lead playing. So we're going to cover all the rhythm guitar parts and the great lead, and we'll just cover all this piece of greatness. So if this is the kind of thing that you like and you haven't done so yet, I invite you to click subscribe and ring the bell, which will let you know when I drop new content, and I do that every single week. All my videos have chapters in them, so you can jump right to the part of the lesson that you want to see and bypass what you don't. And if you're looking for other ways to support the channel, I really appreciate that. There's thanks, which is just like throwing a tip in the tip jar right below. Or you can join my Patreon, where I've got chord charts and tabs for all the lessons I do on YouTube, just like this one. All the links are in the description below. Check it out. Okay, so China Grove. So this is a super fun tune, like I said, and I'm going to break out some things that I haven't played on in a long time, and people ask me about it all the time, and I'm like, I don't know why I don't play my 335, and I don't know why I don't play in my blonde Bassman more than I do. So we're going to be treated to that today. But I have to tell you, before I get into that, I don't know if any of you are like this, but I listen, when I'm listening to music, when I'm listening to rock music especially, I am zeroing in on guitar. That's what I'm listening to. I'm like tuned into it like a radio. Like I listen to that first. I like to pick out the other instruments too, but like I listen to that first. And the thing that suffers the most is the lyrics. Like I never hardly listen to lyrics, really. Like many of you do, and you should. I should, but I don't. And so I get lyrics wrong all the time. Anyway, this is a really good example. As I was setting up this video, I'm like, where is China Grove? I'm going to look it up a little bit. And I look it up on the maps, and it's just a little town in Texas just outside of San Antonio. and I said that out loud, and I'm like, I think they effing say that right in the song, like in the first and second line of the lyrics. It's like, when the sun goes down on a sleepy little town, I think, down around San Antonio. Like, it was right there the whole time, right? So I sort of listen to lyrics, but they don't really sink in. Anyway, I digress. Let's get to the guitar. So, all right, so this is in standard tuning, and for the most part, there's two guitars going on this, and doing largely the same thing. There's actually more when you listen to the recording going on, but I'll sort of divide this into two camps of guitars. And getting your tone. So, like I said, lots of people have been asking me, like, I'm very fortunate and lucky to have the guitar collection that I do. And this is one of my favorites. It's a 1967 Gibson ES 335. And my wife bought it for me years ago because she's the best. And it's just awesome. It's such a great playing guitar. I have no idea what guitars they used. But I'm going to use this one just because it sounds so killer. And I'm going to run through my 63 blonde Bassman that I haven't been using a whole lot lately, but I'm maxing that thing. So if you ever want to know what like a dimed blonde 63 Bassman sounds like, you're going to hear it today. I am running through the Powerstation, which is an attenuator, so I can't blow up my windows and everything in the house here. So it's pulling the overall volume down. But so that's the kind of sound you can get from an old Bassman. All right, so we're going to go with that. So what I'll say in terms of tone, just find ideally a guitar that's got a humbucker on it, put it on the bridge pickup, and just get a great, gritty, hard distortions, not distortion, but overdrive. Just find the sound you like. You'll know when you find it. Okay, so here's how we're going to do this. So I'm going to go over the rhythm sections. There's basically 4 or 5 sort of sections to the rhythm guitar that goes on. you know, on the record, there's actually two guitars at least that make up the main body of the rhythm guitar stuff. I'm going to sort of combine into one guitar, because you could credibly really cover this song pretty well with one guitar for a rhythm guitar all the way through. So yeah, so let's get to it. So it's going to start with your opening, the opening riff, right? And the opening riff is basically, it's also the first sort of part of the verse as well, as we'll see. But the main part that sticks out is a little bit of echo on there, right? So it's at about that interval. I'm not sure exactly how many repeats are on your delay, but it's about like that. And you want it to sort of go at the tempo of the song, and the song is at about 146 or 148 beats per minute, somewhere around there. I looked that up. I don't carry that knowledge around with me all the time. So there's that. And really the sort of the approach you want to have on the rhythm guitar parts is, I think it's eighth notes. You're just sort of just hitting at that rhythm. I guess that makes it 16th notes, but you can hear the repeats going on as you're sort of hitting it with your pick, but it's aggressive, right? I'm going to link a video here, by the way, of them playing it live in 74-ish, I think, and they just nail it. They're playing it live, and you can just see how the whole thing is just about driving it along the whole time. Anyway, so here's the part. I'm going to play it all the way through, the little intro part. Okay, so that is simply just this power chord formation over the E, and when you hit the E, you hit the low open E as well, right? Then you're going to slide that down to your D position, and then one more fret, and then A. So it's that same sort of chord formation all the way through. Well, with the timing of the repeats, it doesn't work when you do it slow, but I just wanted to, let me do this. Let's take the repeat off. Here we go. And you sort of hear those ghost notes of that E string, which is sort of muted a little bit by my palm as I'm doing it. Right? So you run through that again, comes on and runs through again with the drums and everything that comes in. That second guitar, by the way, is fully playing you can hear that note. And that second guitar doesn't have the delay on it, but just a little nuance. I'm not gonna trouble about that so much, but right. So on the intro, you just keep it around again. Runs around a couple times, and it ends hanging on that A. And then it does it again. Lyrics come in. Right, so that runs around twice. That's the first half of the verse formation. The second half of the verse formation, we're going to start playing actual chords. So those chords, I'm going to turn my delay off, by the way, because once everything kicks in and the singing and the full band, that echo, if it's there, it's way muted lower. But when you're playing that live, it gets a little muddy if you leave that on. So when everyone starts singing, just kick that delay off, because the drums are keeping that sort of that beat going on. So your chords are a C sharp minor, and he plays it up there, that big bar chord. Goes to a B, and then A, and you climb up to a C. And I hear at least one of the guitars doing that dominant 7th. Right? And the sort of nuance that's happening when he goes to that C sharp minor is this, that little hammer-on thing. You're going to lay your finger straight across at the 9th fret, and you're going to hammer on, right? When you go to the B, you sort of flat your ring finger to get the suspended, the B sus. So those two together. And you sort of don't ever play that note. Everything is down on the sort of lower 4 strings. And then when you kick back in, everyone sort of wants to know, like, what's the count? And the count is actually an 8 count. 4, 5, 6. Right? So that's the sort of timing that you use to come in. All right, so now we're on the actual China Grove chorus. And there's a little bit difference in the pattern that you're going to do there. So there's different stabs that happen during the China Grove chorus. How to describe the timing of when they come in. It's a different sort of pattern. Talking about. Okay. Now let me talk about this little pickup note that I was doing. Right, so one guitar on the record is doing that. Another guitar is doing this. Right, and if you think about it, let's go down here to an E chord. What we're doing is we're just sort of climbing up the E major scale, I guess. One's doing that. One's doing that, and they're doing it at the same time. So. So you could actually credibly do that on one guitar, right? On the chorus. You could actually do that. So the first time it goes around, that's the pickup line that it does. The next 2 times that it does that in the song, it actually adds a 3rd harmony on. It's much more difficult to do as one guitar. But what's happening on that 3rd one, that's what's happening on the 3rd one. So if you want to think of it down here on an E chord again. Yeah, and then it does a little flare at the end. Anyway, so I just like to play it with those two. Okay, so let's go to the bridge section now. So the bridge, I'll just talk about the chords. So the lead into the bridge chords is an F, what is that? A flat minor or a G sharp minor. Someone will correct me because one of those is wrong, but it's the same place. It's a minor, big minor bar chord at the 4th fret. How's that? And then a B major, and then a C sharp minor. we're going to move to a F sharp minor. And actually, let me amend that. I think they're minor sevenths, so it's, and then a minor seventh off of the F sharp. And when you're up there playing on those, you're still doing your hammer on, right? So it's something like this. Right? So again, minor, B, C sharp minor, F sharp minor 7, C sharp minor 7, and then it goes to an F sharp major. And he plays that major down here. And he does a little flare off of a sus. Back again. And you end it going to A. Little sus there. And then C, D to E. And on the record, one of those guitars is hitting this low E chord, the cowboy E chord, right? So however you get there, land on that E. You can either do all first position chords or a combination. And we're back to this. But you got to kick your delay on. All right, then we're going to launch into our guitar solo. The last thing I'll talk about the rhythm guitar is there's a very slight variation during the guitar solo that the rhythm guitar does. So instead of our normal once the guitar solo, a guitar starts playing, he changes it to and it's sort of loose with it, right? So, but you're hitting that G. Back to your E. Just during that guitar solo, and it just totally makes it. It's different enough. And it goes so well with what is being played on the lead. So let's talk about the lead, right? So the lead guitar, I'm going to switch to my neck pickup for, I don't know what reason. I think the tone is more of a neck position, but I'm not exactly sure about that. But here's where this solo happens. It's a lesson between moving between the E major pentatonic and the E minor pentatonic. They play it. He plays the first half in the major position and the second half in the minor position. That's where everything is, right? So that E major pentatonic position here, right? It's based off of, think of this E chord, and you make that the sort of bottom of your scale shape. So that's the major. And then your minor is the exact same shape I just did. You're just sliding it up 4 frets. And now you're in E minor, right? Here's the major. Exact same position, just sliding it up 1, 2, 3 frets. Now you're in your minor pentatonic. And that's true of any key. It's all the same thing. You just move back and forth 3 frets. Right? So the first half's going to be in major, and the second half's going to be in minor. There you go. But let's talk about the part. All right, so I'm going to break down the solo into 4 phrases. First 2 are going to be in our major, and the last 2 are going to be in our minor scale. So the first part comes in you know, during the first part of that intro riff, right? Then you hear, right? And then it goes around again, and here comes the solo. All right, so that first phrase. Right, slowly one time. All right, then the second one. Right, slow that one down. Now we're going to slide up to our minor pentatonic position. So that was the first two phrases. Here's the third phrase. So that's the third part. So you're sliding into that, think of an E chord like this, right? You're just sliding into that. You're going to live on that little D note for a while. We ended on that E note at the 12th fret. We're going to scoop up into that E note to begin the last part of the phrase. And the last phrase is... Love that little descending part. So you're sort of playing with that E note. Right? And then you're going to do this little... Beautiful. Beautiful, right? Okay, so let me run through the whole thing one time. Woo! All right. Well, that, my friends, is China Grove by the Doobie Brothers, and I hope you learned something new today. If this is the kind of thing you like and you haven't done so yet, I invite you to jump right down and click subscribe and ring the bell. The bell will let you know when I drop new content, what you do every single week. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this, and if there's another song you want me to take on and do a lesson similar, let me know what that is too. Okay, until next week, take care, everybody.